My preparation for my job starts when most people are asleep. I come in to work at 3 in the morning. That means I get up about 2:30 on the mornings that I work here. And I come in, and as soon as I get here, of course that's without any makeup or my hair being brushed. When I come in, the first thing I do is log onto my computer. I chat with the guys. We have 2 overnight producers, and I ask them, what's the big story, what's going on? So they brief me a little bit, and then I sign on and start looking at the stories we have in the rundown for that morning, and offer to make some follow-up phone calls, because even in the middle of the night, news happens and we have to call sometimes hospitals to get updates on patients, or we have to call police or dispatchers to get updates on stories, so that we'll have the newest information when we start the news at 4:30 in the morning. I think I've just always wanted to be involved in broadcasting in some form or fashion. Even in high school, that's when I got involved into my speech team, speech and debate team, and journalism on the high school level, writing for the newspaper. So it just seemed like a natural thing for me to go into broadcast journalism, be someone who likes to talk to people, likes to be out in the community, finding out what's going on. You have to be someone who isn't afraid to pick up the telephone and call someone, to ask them questions, to be able to put your story together. Other than good communication skills, being able to adapt, that is the key, because when I started in broadcasting 30 years ago, because I started in radio right out of high school, you have to be able to adapt and change for all the different equipment. What you're interviewing me on was not even available, wasn't even thought of when I started in this profession. So you have to be able to change as the technology changes and keep up with everything. Sometimes I dislike hearing my alarm clock at 2:30 in the morning. But then I think, well, I enjoy what I'm doing. I love working mornings. I'm more of a morning person. So that's been really fun. It is fun being on TV. There's a lot of stress to it, and there are a lot of crazy hours, and the pay is not as glamorous as people would think. But it is fun, and you get to meet a lot of neat people. I've gotten to interview lots of, pretty cool people over the years. So it's a fun job. Well, for me, is being part of an award-winning team here at WSAZ. WSAZ has such a history in our region with television. And when I was in high school, I can remember watching the news thinking, wow, I would love to be working at that station someday when I grow up. And when I was in college at Marshall, I remember how excited I was to get to do an internship here at WSAZ, and to think that now, this is where I work. And I think, to me, that's the biggest triumph. I always just wanted to be here, and I am here. So sometimes I think maybe it was a mistake, but then I get on the air with Rob and Brandon, and it's so much fun. I think, no, it was not a mistake. Well, hopefully we're providing information, we're providing them entertainment, a little mixture of both. I know a couple of times when we've had big snowstorms, there was one last year where it started snowing while we were on the air, and even though we knew about it and our meteorologists had been telling people to prepare for days, once it started, it was coming down really heavy when parents were taking their kids to schools. College students were driving into school or walking to classes, and it became crucial for people to tune in, whether it was on their TV, their phones, their iPads, their computers, because they needed to know, is this snow ever going to stop? It just kept coming down. And we stayed on the air 4 hours after our news ended. That was 4 hours without teleprompters. We just kept going with giving people crucial information. And I think those are the days where I really feel the most proud, because I feel like I'm giving people, I'm providing a service. They need to know this information, and I am able to give that to them on days like that. Well, really, growing up, I knew that I enjoyed writing. I always wanted to be a writer. And I enjoyed, once I got involved in the speech and debate team activities at my high school. So really, once I was in high school and realized this was something I might want to do, it was the local newscasters, the local anchors and reporters that inspired me the most. And I thought, you know, if they can do it, maybe I can do it. And I remember when I was in high school coming to this TV station and trying to find out from their people, well, what do I need to do? And all of them said, you know, get your degree, you know, whether it's at Marshall or Ohio University, wherever you want to go, get your degree and get involved with as much as you can when you were in school, so that you'll know if this is really what you want to do, and do internships, job shadowing. That was something that was stressed to me from people that to me were role models when I was just starting to get into this. Right out of Marshall, I was offered a job as a morning news anchor and a reporter in Kentucky, and the pay was $13,500 a year. And at the time I thought, that sounds, you know, hey, it's money. But then I realized I had bills to pay. That was not very much money at all. And I've compared notes with some of the others that are close to my age, and when they got into the business, it was anywhere from $11,000 to $13,000 a year. Now that's much better, thank goodness, because I mean, that's horrible pay, especially when you have a degree from a college or university. I think they start out in the teens to 20s now, probably in the 20 to mid 20 range with a college degree. And depending on if you want to specialize and become a meteorologist, you know, they have an extra degree, higher pay potential there. If you're wanting to go into some form of management in this industry, you can expect higher pay. Really, for people, if you're wanting to be a reporter or a news anchor, it's working your way to bigger markets, to bigger cities, and that's where you'll find the higher pay. You have to have a broad knowledge of everything, because you never know from day to day what your story is going to be a lot of the time, or what you're going to be reporting on from the anchor desk. You have to have a wide enough world view of everything to be able to understand it and then make it understandable for the people watching your newscast. A lot. I talked about that a little bit earlier, because you have to be able to adapt to all the technology. Everything now is digital, whereas it used to be on film and tape when I started in the industry. So being able to even gather the news is so much different now. People can use a cell phone, you know, shoot a little bit of video, whether it's just a person out in the community or our own reporters and photographers all use their cell phones out in the field, in addition to our equipment that we have. Reporters now, hardly ever you'll see anyone use a paper. We use an iPad on the desk. In the old days, we had paper. All of our scripts were printed out. Now we use iPads, and we have computers, so we can look up information if we need to during a live broadcast. Our reporters out in the field, in addition to using TV camera equipment, they use their phones a lot to continue to update their information. And you won't see them holding a notebook in front of them during their live shots. A lot of times they use their phone because their information is there. And then if they need to, in between live shots, gather more information, they can do that. I mean, everything is so instant now, and it wasn't like that when I started in this business. Having a good work ethic, being reliable, trustworthy, those are key things that are important for this business, and things that will help you get better jobs if people know that you're a good worker, you're reliable, you'll get the job done, they know that you're dependable when they need you to come in for a shift to work or to go out and do a story. They know that you can do it and you'll do it right. I would say get involved while you're in college to make sure this is what you want to do. We offer an internship program here at WSAZ. It really gets your feet on the ground. You get to learn from a variety of people depending on what it is you're wanting to do. And that gives you a better idea than what you'll learn out of a textbook. Because we've had people intern here and then after their internship say, you know, I don't know that this is what I want to do. I don't know that I want to work the early hours and, you know, have to maybe work holidays starting out. So it's really good to do internships or job shadowing if you can. And I also would recommend getting involved on campus, newspaper, TV, radio opportunities that you have on campus, because that's how you're going to decide, is this really what I want to do?